Okay, here we are. Planet Bride, welcome. I am Henry Roth, and this is my adoring...
I'm Michelle Roth. And Henry made me hold this up. He made the sign, and now I have to hold it up. Up.
Welcome. Well, here we are in our studio here, the Wedding Podcast Network studio right here in Midtown Manhattan, and we are really thrilled because our producers Robert and Holly have agreed for us not just to do a podcast but a vodcast as well. So if you're listening or watching, welcome to the very first live Planet Bride across the globe, and we thought that this would be a different approach. We haven't done a show for quite a while. How long have we had done a show for? Six to 7 months. What's the reason? We hope you're all doing very well out there. How have you been doing, Michelle Roth? What's been going on in your world?
I'm doing very well.
Yes.
Very busy.
Why are you so busy?
There's a lot happening.
What's happening?
Wedding dresses are happening.
What else is happening? I'll tell you. Okay, everybody, what's happening is, finally, in our family, we are expecting 2 googies. Now, the Australian slang for an egg is a googie egg, and Michelle is having twins by surrogate, a boy and a girl. I'm going to be an uncle for the first time. You're going to be a mother for the first time. That's how it kind of works when you're a brother and a sister. And when are we expecting them? Soon.
They're coming quite soon, yes.
Excellent. So that's why you've been so busy. I've been in Australia filming Project Runway Australia, which is...
Season 2.
Season 2, which is the #1 rated show right around Australia on the Arena Network. So wherever you're watching or listening to this, it's unusual for Michelle and I to be in the same room at the same time.
In the same country.
In the same country. And so we're celebrating with you. And in the short time that I'm here on this trip, we knew when we spoke to Robert and Holly of the Wedding Podcast Network that we were going to do a show together. So I think it's time to get down to business.
Henry, you're wearing headphones and I'm not.
Well, no, because the thing is, I want to be like Susie Orman when she first started her show, and you don't. So
I don't like it when it makes your hair bad. So
okay, I don't mind. I actually think it gives me nice hair, and it gives me, slenderizing my face. I have no problem. But we were discussing what we were actually going to talk about today, and we wanted to talk about how to glamorize your wedding.
I love this topic.
Yeah, well, I think the thing is as well, I think people, we're talking about this, that people are over, the Australian slang for over is O-V-A-H, over, so being so down about everything to do with, anything to do with expenditure. And I think that weddings are about glamour, and there are ways, we're not even talking about dollars and cents, because I think after a while that gets a little bit boring.
I think the point is that we can't ignore the fact, but we can make the most of the situation. And so that's the way we're looking at it. That's the way we're interpreting it.
Yeah, and I think we're looking at how to glamorize your weddings, how to take things not necessarily for granted or to reevaluate them along the way when you're planning to actually make it glamorous and not to feel like this is like every dime is counted, because there are things that you can do that aren't necessarily anything to do with money. It's just about well-placing your resources and maybe focusing and concentrating on not trying to cover everything on your wedding, whether it's for the gown or for reception or ceremony or music. And I think forcing yourself to really pinpoint areas in your wedding that you want to focus on so that it becomes points of glamour along the way.
In other words, maximize certain things to give the most impact. And it doesn't mean that you have to feel a lack of certain things, but it means that you can elaborate on 1 or 2 things that can really give a feel and an atmosphere to the wedding of glamour. Yeah,
I agree with you. So it's like walking down the yellow brick road because it's the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Anyway, I don't know where that came.
And red shoes.
And red shoes.
I love
that was
red
it.
Shoes.
When Dorothy went down the yellow brick road, what do you remember? That is actually the point. You remember the major glamour element, which you put on those red sequin shoes.
Yes.
So think about that as the focus. Think about that as the element. And we're going to hit about 7 or 8 points on making you think about how to glamorize your wedding. Point number 1, Michelle.
Always about the dress.
Yeah, well, what is it about?
The dress is always the pivotal point.
Okay, but what about...
And so for dresses, I think, if you're having something that's clean and simple, but you still want to make it very elegant, or you still want to have that element of Hollywood glamour.
Yeah.
I think the wonderful thing to do is, instead of putting everything on that you could possibly imagine to try and make it either glitzy or not, whatever it is to concentrate, as we said before, on one particular element. So if you have a beautiful dress which has got no beading and you still want to step it up just a little bit, you can have a wonderful veil. Instead of doing short, maybe make it long.
And have beading on it.
Maybe a little bit of beading.
A bit of shimmer, a little bit of Swarovski crystal. Make that the pivotal point of your glamour. Clean gown.
Because with the veil, you can have longevity with it. Because not only do you wear the veil as you walk down the aisle, after the ceremony, you can have it at your reception or cocktails. You can drape it around your neckline, or you can bustle it so it becomes floor length, so you still have that beautiful feel of the veil without having to take it off straight away.
I think the other thing is as well, a lot of women I speak to actually talking about shoes, with all jokes set aside.
Oh yeah, shoes is major.
Really go for just a clean, simple gown and spend up big on a pair of Manolo Blahniks or something that's like really crystalled or Swarovski or something that, and making sure, or also shoes like Christian Louboutin that has amazing coloured soles when you're walking down the aisle. But what's wrong with having amazing Swarovski crystal shoes and maybe like a red heel underneath?
But I think there's a demarcation between making something really glamorous and spending the money, or making something really glamorous and not spending the money. So say, for example, if somebody can't do the very expensive designer shoes, I've had brides who do a colour in the shoe. So I've had a bride, our Maya dress with the polka dot. Somehow most brides that choose that dress do fantastic shoes, whether they do it with colour. I've had a bride wear a blue pair of shoes, wear a red pair of shoes, or you can go to these craft shops and you can find the Swarovski crystals, and some brides like to just glue a little something on there or on the heel. So depending on what level of expense you're going to, you can still glamorize without having to spend or overspend.
I think also, thinking about it as well, just like a killer pair of drop earrings, chandelier earrings.
Yes.
Or not necessarily, and not as well as that, or just an amazing Demonte cuff can sometimes make
two cuffs.
Or two cuffs
can make it something dramatic. You can make it, I think, making a bold statement is the way to go.
I predict the return of elbow length gloves. Absolutely. 40s, yes I do. And I really believe that.
Remember when we used to do kid gloves for our brides?
Absolutely.
Kid gloves, the opera length?
Fantastic.
I used to love those.
So I think glamorous elements, and I think overall, I really do. So I think that if it's going to be, or the gown's going to be really elaborate, and then you just power everything down, so the glamour element is the gown, or the veil, or cuffs,
an accessory,
or accessories, or shoes. I think that's the way you have to think about it. So when I think the new attitude as well, which I'm seeing from brides when it comes to their gown, is that they're thinking about the whole style when they're walking into, say, Kleinfeld's, where we have our gowns, which I know we're doing. Hello to everybody at Kleinfeld's, our dear friends out there, who, thank goodness, we're doing extremely well, even in these tough times. Michelle Roth and Henry Roth gowns are doing really, really well. And I know yourself, when you're consulting to the brides, they are coming with the entire styled picture of what they are looking to do, not just with the dress, but with everything about the gown, so that it doesn't become an afterthought and you're throwing things onto your look. And it becomes like a Christmas tree, literally. So we also advise, not just when you're thinking about the kind of gown that you want, what kind of look are you building with it as you're wanting to glamorize? Because glamour is, you're becoming a stylist as well as just looking for your dress. That's the difference.
It's the head to toe.
It's the head to toe, really, and thinking about that before you start looking for your gown and the whole image. Number 2, we want to talk about the ceremony.
The ceremony, and how to make that glamorous.
Right, well.
And Henry and I were discussing that with regard to your ceremony, what can you do to build it into an enclave where your guests arrive and they feel that there's something special, there's something buzzing, there's something happening in the air. And that for us means atmosphere.